Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day to Dr. Nohasima binti Shahrudin. My name is Muhammad Ilman Hakim bin Zulkafli. And in this video presentation, I will be discussing salient Shariah issues in the contemporary application of Mudarabah in Islamic financial institution. This presentation focuses on how Mudarabah is applied in practice today, the key Shariah issues that arise, and how these issues are resolved according to Shariah principles. What is Mudarabah? Mudarabah is Shariah compliant financial contract between two parties. The first party is the Rab al-Mal, who provides the capital. The second party is the Mudarib, who manage and invest the capital. Any profit generated is shared between both parties based on a pre-agreed profit sharing ratio, while financial loss is borne solely by the Rab al-Mal, unless the loss is due to negligence or misconduct by the Mudarib. Mudarabah promotes risk sharing, trust, and ethical investment, which are core objectives of Islamic finance. In modern Islamic banking, Mudarabah is commonly applied through the Mudarabah-based investment account I, also known as IAI. In this structure, the customer acts as the Rab al-Mal, the Islamic bank acts as the Mudarib, the bank invests the customer's fund in Shariah-compliant activities such as trade financing, asset-backed financing, sukuk, and Islamic money market instrument. Returns received by the customer depend entirely on the actual performance of the investment, meaning profits are not guaranteed. The first issue is capital guarantee and risk sharing. The first issue concerns capital guarantee, which directly contradicts the fundamental principle of Mudarabah. In practice, many customers perceive Mudarabah as similar to a fixed deposit, largely due to the bank marketing strategies. Some Islamic banks implicitly or explicitly guarantee capital protection or minimum returns. As a result, customers are not fully informed about the possibility of losses, which is essential in a profit and loss sharing contract. This issue arises mainly because the customers expect capital certainty, similar to conventional deposit, and banks market Mudarabah as a low-risk investment to remain competitive. To address this issue, Islamic banks must strictly avoid any contractual or marketing statement that promise capital protection or fixed return. There must be clear pre-contract risk disclosure, explaining that Mudarabah is an investment, not a deposit. Banks should also communicate possible loss scenarios and disclose the investment portfolio risk and strategy to ensure transparency and Shariah compliance. Next, we move to the second issue, which is profit sharing ratio. The second issue relates to the profit sharing ratio, or PSR. In some cases, PSR is presented in a way that resembles fixed income, which undermines the nature of Mudarabah. Additionally, profit smoothing practices are used to stabilize returns, masking the actual performance of the investment. Some banks even distribute profit before they are fully realized, which raises serious Shariah concern. This issue exists mainly because banks engage in profit smoothing and because customers tend to compare Mudarabah returns with conventional deposit. The solution is to ensure that the PSR is clearly stated, for example, 70% for the customer and 30% to the bank. Profits must be distributed only after actual realization and strictly based on performance. Furthermore, banks should provide full disclosure of gross profit, expenses, and net profit, so customers clearly understand how returns are calculated. Issue is Mudarib, role, fees, and conflict of interest. The third issue involves the role of the bank as Mudarib, including fees and potential conflicts of interest. In practice, banks often play multiple roles such as Mudarib and Wakil without proper disclosure. There are cases of hidden fees deducted from customers' profit and Mudarabah funds being used for the bank's own financing needs. Additionally, incentive structures may not be linked to actual investment performance. These problems arise due to complex banking operation and a lack of transparency in fee structures and fund usage. To resolve this, banks must clearly disclose all roles they play in the Mudarabah arrangement. There should be no hidden or arbitrary charges, and Mudarabah assets must be accounted for separately. Any incentive given to the bank should be performance-based, Shariah approved, and aligned with the actual result. In conclusion, Mudarabah remains one of the most important Shariah-compliant financial contracts in Islamic finance, as it is built on the principle of risk sharing, fairness, and trust. However, its contemporary application faces significant Shariah challenges, particularly in relation to capital guarantee practices, profit sharing mechanism, and the roles and responsibility of the Mudarib. Practices such as guaranteed returns, profit smoothing, and lack of the transparency contradict the true essence of Mudarabah and blur the distinction between Islamic and conventional finance. These practices often arise due to competitive pressure and customer expectation for capital certainty. Therefore, Strong Sharia governance, transparency, and the principle of manah are essential to ensure that Mudarabah-based investment account I products genuinely reflect risk sharing and ethical finance, and ultimately comply with the Maqasid al-Shariah. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.